Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics, and welcome back to the YouTube channel tonight. And look, it's finally beginning. The footy season's finally back, and that long dreaded off season is finally over. So tonight I've got Dan from Rugby League Outlaws. He is a Cronulla Sharks tragic supporter. You would have seen him on my channel last year when I got him and Terry on. Unfortunately, Terry cannot make it tonight. He is overseas, enjoying his holiday down there in Bali. So, it's a shame he couldn't come on, but hopefully enjoys his, trip over there. And hopefully we can get Terry back on again soon. But, Dan, it's great to have you on. Massive Cronulla Sharks supporter. And, it's good to have you on. It's the first official preview of the season. Round one New Zealand Warriors taking on the Cronulla Sharks down at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland, New Zealand on Friday night. How are you doing?
Mate, Dan? Doing good, thanks. Thank you so much for the invite. I just want to echo your statement that that off-season was terrible. I'm glad it's over. And, look, Terry and Bali letting the team down again. I'll have to carry the load. Again, Terry, if you're watching, again.
Yeah, and it's good to have you on again. Had you on before, and I've had Terry on before, and you guys were good coming on last year. And, it's great to have you on again in this early round fixture, round one. I can't wait for it. Really excited. Also a bit nervous as well. I'm always genuinely nervous and excited at the same time. Two mixed feelings, but I can't wait for Friday night down at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium. But before getting into talking about this game, going through the team list, key matchups and all that sort of stuff, why don't we go through the off-season and how the Sharks have fared in the off-season? And how do they go in terms of their recruitment, Dan? How did they go in terms of their recruitment? And how was the off-season for the Sharks?
It was a quiet off-season for the Sharks, which is always good for us because when it's not, it's usually for negative reasons. Recruitment-wise, I mean, Billy Burns is the only player of real name, and I say that respectfully. He's played, 40, 50 games for the Dragons and other teams. Our big recruit comes next year, and all the off-season talk was bringing Auckland Blake for 2025. There was a little bit of the fan base holding on to hopefully get him for this year. I'm glad he stuck with you guys, to be totally honest, unselfishly. Like, if he signs us tomorrow, yay. But I think it's a good swan song for him, considering, the relationship over there. Mate, it has been the most quiet, dare I say, boring off-season for the Sharks in a long time, which I think is a good thing. But obviously with no big recruits comes no real change in excitement for this year. So I go into the season excited, yet a little bit nervous that perhaps we haven't improved enough. But overall, mate, quiet season's always good when you're talking about the Sharks.
Yeah, so you guys haven't really made too many of significant signings, but obviously the big one is next year with AFB, Adam Fanua-Blake leaving my boys, the New Zealand Warriors, to go play for the Sharks. And it's a big loss for the Warriors next season, but that's next season when we talk about it. But it's a good signing for you guys, definitely. How do you feel on that signing, Adam Fanua-Blake, next year? Because it's a big inclusion for you guys, because you've got a very strong four-pack as it is at the moment. Do you think with the majority of those players you have now, do you think you'll be able to keep a lot of them with AFB coming, or do you think some of them may head to another club next season?
Look, during about last year, mid-season, Terry and I, we both agreed that our forward pack just wasn't up to where we need it to be with the backs the way they are. And we both said who are two players we could sign if we could sign anyone in the NRL. And we both said, well, if Payne Haas isn't available, it's Fanua-Blake and Terrell May. And when Adam Fanua-Blake said, hey, I'm looking to come home, we immediately messaged everyone in the club we know saying, let's get this done. This is the signing that makes us legit. So when it happened, we were super excited. Like, we got a message in the group chat, "Oi, boys, check the website in 15 minutes." And we both were like, it couldn't be, could it? It's the biggest signing Cronulla made since Nico Hines, to be honest. Now, I know I have to touch on it. He has had some off-season stuff that I'm not happy about, and you would be crazy to say you are. In terms of the player, though, he's the perfect player for this. In terms of the players we kept, we've re-signed pretty much everyone. Hamanueli, who I was certain was going across the ditch, he re-signed. Jesse Colquhoun re-signed. Royce Hunt's got another year. Jack Williams is evidently close to re-signing. Oregon Kafusi's off contract. or has a mutual option. I don't know how mutual can be if the club says, "Oi, on your bike." And Tom Hazelton's off contract. So outside of those three, we've kept the pack together. I would still love to sign Terrell May. I don't know if I think he might have played himself out of that and he wants too much money based on his performance in Vegas. But, mate, Fanua Blake is the difference between us finishing 7th and us having a real crack at the top 4.
Yeah, and I say hello to Nick from Australia and Czech. Good to see you, Nick from Australia. He's saying bloody keen for the game Friday night. Absolutely, can't wait for it as well. And just going back to last year. You guys made the finals again. I'll be completely honest with you here that with the Sharks, you guys didn't really beat a lot of the top teams, and you guys really struggled against the top teams. I'm sure you'll definitely agree with me on this one, but you guys in the finals yet to win one finals game under Craig Fitzgibbon. What's your thoughts there on going into this year? There's going to be a lot of pressure on your boys to, be up there again and actually win a finals match. Well, what are your thoughts there?
Mate, 100% agreed. I mean, you can make finals every year forever. As if you don't win a finals game, you're not going to win the premiership, which is ultimately the goal. Look, in season 1, to finish second was unheard of under Fitzgibbon. And Nico Hines coming in, rookie halfback, rookie coach. Yep. It just wasn't meant to be. The fact we didn't beat the Cowboys at home in that final still haunts me to this day. To have the Roosters down to 12 men, depleted. We should have beaten them by 20 points. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade, and we didn't. Yeah, it haunts me. Losing to South, okay, you can cop that. They flogged us. We just ran out of troops. But to sit here now and have those 2 seasons, and it's borderline embarrassing. And I mean, as a fan, there's not much I can do. But if we do the same again this year, people can start asking questions. Are we bullies? Yes, we're bullies. Absolutely, we are bullies. But you got to be bullies to make the finals. What happens in the finals is ultimately what matters. If we don't win a finals game this year, mate, I will be very, very disappointed.
Yeah, and look, you guys have got a very good bunch of talented players here at your side. Nico Hines, last year there was a bit of going on there with Nico Hines, and New South Wales obviously missed out on that New South Wales selection. Well, what are your thoughts going into this year with Nico Hines? Do you think there needs to be more pressure taken off Hines and more emphasis on some of the other players to perform, or because it feels like the pressure is always on Nico Hines every week, like for you guys?
It 100% is on Nico Hines. I mean, we saw it in the finals. Trindle's young. Was his first final, so I'm definitely not going to pile on Trindle. We have to provide. We've got a superstar player who won a Dally M in his first year in the position. If he plays one more game, he wins the Dally M last year as well. I think he finished, a game and a half behind Johnson, who had one of the all-time great, and Ponga had one of the all-time great things. But Nico plays an extra game. He gets 12 points. He wins the whole thing. So anyone bagging Nico for our issues, you're not watching the game. You're just taking it easy out. You're hearing what you want to hear. We have to give him more this year. I think if Will Kennedy stays fit, you'll see that. Trindle's got a full season under his belt, off-season under his belt, rather, next to Nico. We don't have Moylan dragging us down anymore. I say one of Moylan's biggest fans, or I was.
Yep.
The forwards have got to go forward. Brayley's got to give better service. Our entire game plan has to be taking pressure off Nico Hines, because one bloke can't win a premiership. We've never seen one guy win a premiership. We've seen one player, Nathan Cleary, play a huge part and win the premiership. But he had 3 or 4 go with him. We're yet to see that. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a massive fan of Nico Hines. I really do like him. I think he's a great player to watch, and he brings plenty for you guys. And what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Braden Trindle? How do you reckon he's going to go this year with you guys?
I like Trindle. Always have.
Yeah.
His kicking game is the best in the club. That includes Nico Hines. His short kicking game is much better, and he's got a bigger boot. The bloke can tackle much better than we've seen our halves tackle on that left side. You'll see when Moylan left the club left the squad last year, our left-hand side missed less than half the tackles with him in. So I think he's had a full preseason with Nico, which he's never had before. He's got maybe 30 games under his belt now. I'm a huge fan of Trindle. There's a kid, Cade Dykes, who we'll know as Adam Dykes' son, who's played fullback, won a New South Wales Cup player, 5'8" of the year award. Very, very good player, and he'll be nipping at his heels in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months because he's coming off an ACL. You've got to give him 10 weeks. But, mate, I'm a huge fan of Cronulla. I think he'll do very, very well. If not, we got a bloke in reserve grade who's coming back next week or the week after who's also just as good. So I'm a lot more confident this year than I was last year going in with Moylan, that's for sure.
Yeah, so what player is what player are you looking at for this year? Like, you know, in terms of, like, let's say a young prospect coming through, what player would you're keeping an eye out for this season? Who you reckon could possibly, you know, maybe make his debut for the club this year? What do you reckon?
So I've got the big four. Kayliro is the one that comes to mind. I know he's played one game on the wing on 24 hours notice, ran for about 250 metres. Sam Stone Street is the one that we've interviewed recently, and he said he's next man up on the wing. I don't want to wish injury or suspension upon a winger, but I kind of want to see Stone Street play. He's the fastest in the club. He's about a foot taller than Sione Katoa. He's built like an Adonis, and I think he's 19. This kid has all the talent in the world to be something special, and if we see some Sam Stone Street this year, it can only be a good thing. He scored, 13 tries in 17 games last year in his first year in New South Wales Cup, which is very good for a kid that could have played flag. So I think Stone Street's the one, but if Jesse Colquhoun hadn't been injured, he would have been in our 17 for sure.
Yep. And I just got a question here, actually, in the live chat. So hello to Daniel here. He's asking, do you think the Sharks could look to sign Metcalf's coming off season? I think it's unlikely as he wants to play 7. And I know you already have Puru coming through. So it's a question for you, Dan. What are your thoughts here on that one?
Yeah, I mean, Metcalf's a Sharks junior, went to Manly, came back to the Sharks. Yep. We've had halfbacks go over there, Chad Townsend, and come back. So it's not unheard of. It depends whether Nico wants to play 6 or 7. If Nico, and I believe he's a 7, put it this way, if Trindle and Dykes don't turn out, maybe Cronulla say to Metcalf, you want to come across? He's going to have to take a massive pay cut, though, because Cronulla's cap is bursting at the seams. Just can't see it happening. I think he's won a team rebuilding like the Tigers should say, if Fainu doesn't work out, I don't rate Aiden Caesar. If Sullen doesn't work out, I know it's a lot of ifs. You could put him next to Jerome Luai. That's a superstar halves pairing. I think he'll re-sign with you guys. And I don't rate Peru. I don't think Peru is an option. I'm a massive fan of Luke Metcalf, and we see he's been named in the team this week. So, just last thing before getting into the whole preview is Blake Brayley. What's your thoughts on Blake Brayley? I think he's a very good young player. He gets through a lot of work defensively as well. I think he really does do a lot of work for you guys defensively. What are your thoughts on him last season, on how he went last season? What do you expect from him this year? Like, in terms You've done your research, mate. I like it. I have a love-hate relationship with Brayley. I think he's serviceable.
Yep.
He's got all the potential in the world, but when does potential become talent? He's not in the top 5, probably top 6 hookers in the game, but he's not in the bottom 4 or 5 either. He tackles his backside off, but his decision-making is terrible. In the finals, Nico Hines was screaming for the ball with a 4-man overlap, and he chucks it right to Connor Tracy, who does a hit-up and loses the ball. If we go left, Nico ices it, game over, we're playing the next round. So I can't forgive that. Unfortunately, there's not much behind him, so Brayley's our number 9. He won our Player of the Year last year, which I hugely disagree with. I wouldn't have put him in our top 6 or 7, but the players obviously know better than I do. There's a reason they play and I don't. I know the answer I'm supposed to give is that he's the future. If he were to sign away tomorrow, I wouldn't be crying too many tears, but he's definitely better than his brother. So,
yeah, and I'll just get to the super chat here. We've got the YouTube super chat from York again. He's been on fire with these super chats lately. $2.99 super chat from York, and he's saying, up the wires, cheers, York. Really appreciate that super chat. Really appreciate all your support as well. So thanks for that super chat. But let's get into it. The game now. Let's preview this game. Warriors, Cronulla Sharks down at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland, New Zealand. It's been a while since we've opened the season at home, actually. So it's great to see we get to open the season down there at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. But can't wait for this game. Now, the game's on for me at 5 o'clock here in Queensland, so that'll be like 6 o'clock in New South Wales time there, Sydney time. So, yeah, it should be a good one. So we'll get into the team list. First things first, I'll just put up the banner for the team list. So give me just a second. Here we are, team list discussion. All right, we'll get into the team list. So, Dan, if you can go through the Cronulla Sharks team as either way side, so you can go through them first. And I'll go through the Wars team, home side, the New Zealand Warriors.
Gotcha. I'm under pressure. Hopefully I don't forget anyone. But it's Kennedy, Katoa, Ramian, Talakai, Ronaldo. Of course, the halves are Braden Trindle, Nico Hines. Up front, we've got Oregon Kaufusi, who had a big off-season, and Royce Hunt. Blake Brayley, of course, is the number 9. Teague Wilton and Britton Nickera, the back row. And the captain and starting, Cam McInnes, which I really, really rate just quietly. On the bench, Dale Finucane, Toby Rudolph, Jack Williams, and big, bald Tom himself, Tommy Hazelton. So, pretty strong side for the Sharks.
Awesome. Now to go through the Wars team. So, fullback is Tane Tauapiki. As you guys would know, Chance Klukstad's going to be missing the first three games. I believe it's 3 games here, so he is not playing for this one. But we've got a handy player in Tane Tauapiki there at fullback. Darren Watini-Zelezniak, DWZ's on the wing. And the centres of Rocco Berry and the man himself, RTS, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. How bloody good is it to have him back? Marcelo Montoya on the other wing. And the halves of Luke Metcalf, 5'8", and Sean Johnson, the halfback there. Adam Fanua-Blake, the prop, and Wade Egan hooker. Mitchell Barnett, the other prop, and Jackson Ford in the second row. With the new inclusion of Kurt Capewell there in the second row. And the captain, of course, the lock, Tohu Harris. The bench reads Freddie Lussick, Tom Ale, Bunty Afoe, and Dylan Walker. In the reserves, Adam Pompey, 18th man, Jazz Tavanga, Tamari Martin, Ali Lautoa, and Jacob Laban. So that is the Warriors team. Now, Dan, what is your thoughts there on the Sharks team in general? What are your thoughts there on the Sharks team, and what are your thoughts there on the Warriors team that they've named?
Warriors team, very, very strong. Obviously, Nickel Clockstar's a big out, but I rate that to a picky. I hope I'm not butchering that. He's a good young kid. I like the Sharks team. I think we've made a good decision in playing Dale Finucane off the bench. I've been calling that for some time. I'm glad they held on to Tom Hazelton as well. I would have picked Hero. I'm his biggest fan. I definitely would have picked Hero, and I probably would have left Talakai out, if I'm being totally honest. But put him on the bench, maybe bump someone off. I think it's the strongest 17 we could have named. I don't like the fact that Hero's been named as 18th man. If he's not playing first grade, then he needs to be playing for Newtown against your boys over there. 3:45, I believe, is kickoff. Yeah. He needs to be playing 80 minutes football. I don't care where it is. But in terms of the side itself, it picked itself. No Hamanueli, no Jesse Colhoun. I would have, if Colhoun had been fit and left out, I would be screaming the house down right now because he's a brilliant prospect. I think we've named a big bench because you guys are monsters. And with the greatest respects to the Sharks, I think Adam Fanua-Blake's the best forward on the park by a long, long way. I think where we can get you guys is in the centres. I love Rocco Berry, and I think Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's an undoubted legend. But it's his first game in the centres. I know he played a couple of trials, of course. But if Talakai and Ramian don't get on top there, well, it might be a long night for the poor old Sharkies. Good side, man. I like it.
Yeah, and I like our side too. It's probably the strongest with Pickets, bearing, of course, no Chance Nickel Cooks there. No Marata Niokore as well, as you guys would have known that he has suffered a bit of a injury there from the trial against the Dolphins. No news on when he'll be out, but it's a shame. It's a real shame there. As Jacko says here in the chat, he is a big out, Marata Niokore, because I thought he was very strong in that trial game against the Dolphins as well. So it's a real gutting that he's not able to play this game. And Will was saying, I think the Sharks will do better than many expect this year, which is a fair comment actually. I think we know the Sharks on their day they can be really dangerous to the side there. So there's Niokore. I just already read that comment. So look, generally I'm very happy with the Warriors team. The Sharks have got some very big threats in their side, like for me, I'd say obviously you got Sione Katoa, very strong outside back there. I think the Warriors' right side defence is going to have to be real careful here. especially. I think they're going to have to watch themselves. I'm sure we'll be targeted quite a bit there on that right side. But yeah, look, Roger playing in the centres here. Obviously, this is his first official NRL game. He has played in the trials, but this is his real test up against a strong Cronulla Sharks team with some great outside backs as well. So he's going to be really much more tested than he was against the Dolphins. But no doubt about it, obviously, I've got huge faith in RTS because, he's a professional. He's been there before, although not played in this position, but he's, done it before in the NRL, and you can't write him off. But Dan, what are your general thoughts here on the Warriors team? What do you reckon there is their strength and weakness to the side that they've named here?
Strength is definitely Fanua Blake. I mean, I guess it's going to sound biased because we signed him, but he's second best in the game behind Payne Haas. Sean Johnson has done. He's made a career. I know he played for us for a few years, but beaten up on Cronulla. You guys won't forget that try he scored where we had you guys dead to rights and he just ran 80 metres and just was like, don't worry about it. I'll just score. No one come with me. I don't need it. He's put bombs up and killed us at the last time. Sean Johnson worries me. I'm a huge fan of Metcalf. I was actually really upset when we lost him the first time. And then the second, I understood because you don't want to hold kids back to play in reserve grade if you don't have to. So I get it. But your halves are very strong. I think it's hard to call two of us a Sheck a weakness. But the fact is he's had 1.5 trials or 1 trial, etc. And I'm not a big rugby union fan. I'm happy to admit that. I know that's not going to make me popular here. But he made less tackles and meters in his 3 years or 2 years over there than he did in a trial game. So he's going to feel it. He's going to feel it in his lungs. He's going to feel it in his legs. So Cronulla got to get on top of him. Because if he hits the ground running, mate, watch out because he's a freak. Our outside backs have to dominate because our forwards aren't going to. You guys are going to bash us up the middle. Yep. I'm hoping you guys have got the drops because we're going to need a hand to get on top early. Once we get on top, Cronulla can roll. If Nicho Hines gets a foot in the game, it could be a shootout between him and Sean Johnson, which, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say, like, in terms of a key matchup, what are you looking out for here? Like, who do you reckon is a big matchup that you're really, excited about for this game?
The Hines Johnson is the obvious one, but I'm gonna say Fanua Blake and Royce Hunt because if Fanua Blake runs for 200 meters, mate, you guys win this game. If we can limit him to 120, which is crazy for a bloke that big, we'll win that game. See, I don't watch enough Union, sorry guys. I just like making fun, so I'm happy to concede there. But Fanua Blake, if he gets on top of us, you guys win. It's as simple as that. We have to stop him.
Yep, and Jack is just referring to RTS there as you said in the live chat. So as for us in terms of your guys, obviously for me it's definitely Hines. Nicholas Hines is definitely the key for the Sharks there. That halfback battle between Sean and Nicho Hines. It's going to be a bit of a tasty one there itself. And obviously you got Metcalf and Trindle, two very young players applying their trade there. So that's exciting itself. The forward-pack battle, I just believe that we've definitely got the massive wood over you guys. No doubt about it. I think Adam Fanua Blake, Barnett, Ford, Capewell, then you got Harris there. Well, just generally, what are your thoughts here on Kurt Capewell signing to the Warriors? What are your thoughts on his inclusion into the side? Because as the off season, I was really surprised with the signing, and he brings plenty of experience to the table. He's been around a couple of clubs. He's been to Brisbane. He's been to Penrith. He's tasted success. Well, what are your thoughts here on Kurt Capewell?
Yeah, look, Cronulla legend Kurt Capewell. He's played for the Sharks too, albeit not too often. I was shocked. When you guys signed him, I was like, I don't get it. I like it. He's a good player. Terry and I disagree because Terry said straight up that he's washed. I certainly don't agree with that. I think he'll be a big in, but I think he'll come off the bench for you guys because Nick is in a better spot at the moment. Yeah, I was shocked you guys signed him, to be totally honest. I don't totally get it, but he can cover a lot of positions. If someone goes down, I mean, you can trust in Kurt Capewell. So it's probably good depth signing, to be totally honest.
Yeah, and Jacko's saying here that Sharks bench is big. They're coming through the middle for sure. Yeah, I mean the Sharks do have some big forwards on the bench. The Warriors have gone a little bit small. Freddie Lussick, Tom Marley, Bunty Afon, Dylan Walker. Well, what are your thoughts there on the Sharks bench, and what are your thoughts there on the Warriors bench? Because I feel like the Sharks bench has probably got in terms of the forwards and the big bodies. You guys have got a bit more to you. I mean, Tom Marley, Bunty Afon, Dylan Walker, and Freddie Lussick. You guys have got Finucane, Jack Williams, Toby Rudolph, and Thomas Hazelton. So, yeah, what are your thoughts there?
You definitely got the bigger bodies.
Yeah.
I think we've gone in thinking we're going to struggle a bit in the forwards.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Fanua Blake's a 60, 65-minute player. All our blokes are 40 minutes. So Toby's not completely 100% firing. When he is, he can take Fanua Blake on. I think it's a good move to name 4 forwards because you guys are going to belt us early. Your starting forwards are far superior to ours. I think Britton Nicker is probably the best second rower on the field, and obviously he's a Kiwi, so you probably somewhat agree with that. But I think we're going to have to win the forward battle off the bench because I don't think we'll win the starting forward battle. And Tohu Harris, I mean, that guy, he found the fountain in the youth years ago. And if Dale Finucane can't hold off the bench, we're in trouble. But, look, Dylan Walker, I mean, I know he's not the biggest bloke in the world, but he's certainly improved massively since he went across there. I love Lussick, but Wade Egan's one of my favourite players, mate. I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
I hope the size comes to an advantage because that's probably where our advantage lies.
Yeah, and Wade Egan, for me, a massive fan of Wade Egan, but saw that last year he got a few knocks. He's been battered around quite a lot last year, so I think my only worry is if he gets battered again. But Freddie Lussick, is a good player to have off the bench. He adds plenty, and obviously I'm a little bit. There was a bit of surprise around Dylan Walker's selection there by a lot of Warriors fans out there, but I actually did expect him to be named. But yeah, and generally speaking, like I'm happy with our forward pack, and especially the way the forward pack starts with Aiden Fanua Blake, Barnett, Ford, Capewell, Harris. The forward pack's definitely the key for the Warriors. And the outside backs probably, you'd say, it's the Warriors in terms of their depth for the outside backs, probably the best they've had in a while. We haven't had that strong output with our outside backs depth, so very excited for the likes of Barry and RTS working together there. And then you've got Dalwitini and Zalesniak on that wing as well. So, very excited with that too. So, Jacko's saying here, Hines and Niokore will be targeting our left side. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that one because Nico Hines and Niokore, they make a great combination. What are your thoughts here on that one and on what Jacko's saying here?
Absolutely agreed. I mean, RTS, as good as he is, he's never played centre before. I go back to it. And when Cronulla are humming, it's through Hines and Nicker down that right side. Watch for Kennedy sweep. He'll go right and left. I know his pet plays to go left. I dare say, without blowing the game plan, you'll see a lot of Hines and Trindle play beside each other, whether that be on the left or right. I dare say they will go right early and often, though. Yes, good shout.
Yeah, what is your thoughts there on Talakai playing in the centres? Because he's a big lad. He's playing in the centres. So what are your thoughts there on him? What's his best position in your opinion? What do you think he's best at?
I'm picking him in the second row or off the bench personally, but he's such a big body and his early carries, like you can look at half time and Talakai's already over 100 metres and it's all dummy half carries. It's the Penrith way. The backs get you on the front foot. He lacks that little bit of skill in his footwork and stuff. Defensively, I think he's a bit of a liability. Terrible turning circle for a centre. I think he gets burned a lot. Yeah. But his hands, for a guy that big, we call it the touch of Talakai, soft hand Sif. He's a freak. There's passes that he's put and Ronaldo scored untouched that shouldn't be scored. And it's all through Talakai. No other player in the competition could do it. Defensively, though, I have huge worries. And again, if it was me, I'm picking Kyle Iro. Because Talakai's up here. You know, Iro's probably here at the moment, but Iro's top is like way up here. He's the most exciting prospect we've had in a long, long time. The fact that he's only played one game worries me. If they were to switch him on the day, I'll be very happy, but I also see why they picked Talakai. I get it. Experience, big body, etc., etc. But I think Rocco Berry took him apart last year from memory, and I remember thinking, we can't do
that. Yeah, well said there. And Will was saying here, definitely a defensive liability on Talakai there, which you see it in a lot of your guys' games. He does get a bit caught out in terms of his defence. So I think you're definitely spot on there, Dan, on that one. But just want to look at the stats here for this game, and both the Warriors and the Sharks have played 44 times since 1998, and the Warriors have won 18, the Sharks have won 26. But last year, I'm sorry I have to go back on last year's fixtures, Dan, but last year we saw the Warriors come up over the Sharks in both encounters. Now 44-12 that game against the Sharks, but the first encounter against the Sharks down there at PointsBet Stadium, where the Warriors came from behind. That game was remarkable in itself. I couldn't believe the comeback from the boys, because we're starting this game so badly, and the Sharks, your guys were pulling the Warriors' defence apart. You know, the Warriors' defence was just non-existent to start that game. The second half, man, that literally came from nowhere. The Warriors came from behind, and they won it 30-30, and it was raining. It was pissing down with rain in that second half, and I remember Sean Johnson kicking that goal. Dan, what are your thoughts on the matchups between the Warriors and the Sharks? Because in recent times, the Sharks have definitely got the wood over the Warriors in their head-to-head. But last year, the Warriors, different team last year, in that game against the Sharks at PointsBet Stadium, I thought that was a game that really showed the Warriors' resolve. Where the Warriors were going to go that season last year. What are your thoughts there?
Mate, the second game, first and foremost, you guys killed us, and we shouldn't have bothered going across. We turned up, and within 10 minutes, I'm like, the Warriors are going to win by 50. It was terrible. You guys were on the up. We were dusted. The first game, though, we were sitting 18-0. I remember taking the kids down to drop them down to their mum, and came up. We had a penalty goal. It was 20-0, and I'm texting the boys, 50's on here. And I remember the clouds, because I'm in Miranda. I'm about 15 minutes from PointsBet, and I remember the clouds coming across. I was like, uh-oh. And I thought, that's okay. The points will stop. Cronulla will win 22-0 or 24-0, something like that. Then you guys scored, and you scored again. And that second half, Cronulla could not do anything right. And it was disgusting, to be honest. And that you guys played the conditions way better in the second half. But I've got to say, with a couple of minutes to go, or with a minute to go, there was a penalty. Cronulla had a goal, 42 metres out or something. When you say it was pissing down, that's an understatement. It was bucketing down. The wind was disgusting, mate. My house was shaking 15 minutes from the place. If anyone's been to PointsBet Stadium, it has zero protection. It would have been 10 times worse down there. And I'm yelling at the TV, kick deep and try and score, because Nico Hines couldn't kick it 40 metres in that wind. And he didn't. He kicked it about 23 and it bounced, and you guys laughed at him. And everyone's going, oh, Nico this, Nico that. No, the man's not God himself. He can't affect the weather. That was just bad decision-making from Cronulla. I get why they took the two. You probably should have any other day. But, mate, that game, that game, I thought you guys were going to come last. And when you beat us, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And then from then, it was just the upward trajectory. Kickstarted your season. That absolutely destroyed us. We missed out on an easier game in the finals because of it. And I mean, well, we deserved. We were crap in that second half. You guys are fantastic. Super frustrating. I'm glad you brought that up. I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, sorry. I had to bring it up because it was as a Warriors fan, that was a game where, it was. I think it was nominated one of the New Zealand Sporting Awards for the best moment of the year, which was just crazy in itself. But that's how far the Warriors have come to be put in that award, to be in that category. And I believe we won it. I think we won it from my memory. But yeah, it was incredible when Sean Johnson after that game with post match where the up the wires saying started. So yeah, I thought at half time, like looking at that game, I thought, I just hope we can pull off a bit of pride in there in the second half and hope it doesn't get worse and embarrassing. And the second half, we scored a couple of points and I'm thinking, is it really on here? Like, can we do them? And suddenly we score again and it's just crazy. We came back to win, and that win showed where we're going to be at the end of the season. It showed that this team is ready for it this year, because the Warriors in the past, we would have lost that. We would have definitely lost that game, and we came back. So it just showed the teams, fight and resolve, and that's what got them over the line there. So. Yeah, Jacko's saying the first sporting award for league in New Zealand history. Yeah, absolutely. It was remarkable. Like being nominated in that award, especially, and winning that award is crazy in itself. It showed how far the Warriors came after that game for sure. So, yeah, those two matchups. So yeah, look, that 44-12, obviously that 44-12 in New Zealand there, go medium at Smith Stay, and that was a far more convincing win. Didn't have to come back from behind that game, but yeah, that was a very convincing result. But this year, this game is completely different, and I don't want to, write the Sharks off. I think this is going to be quite a tough game to start the season. Your boys will win a bit of revenge. There might be a bit of revenge on the mind there for the Sharks going to New Zealand. A lot of people not expecting it to win, and all the pressures on the Warriors in this game because everyone expects us to win, and all Warriors fans are expecting to win the game. But the Sharks have got a very good side, and they're more than capable of going over there and getting the win. So I'm not writing them off completely. I think it's going to be a really close, hard-fought game. And Jacko's saying here, Morley Tali felt sorry for Kiwi mates, so he dropped the bomb and Sean Johnson was scared. So, yeah, funny that one, yeah, for sure. But any last thing you'd like to say, like in terms of those matchups? Because I think the Warriors Sharks generally are quite good matchups anyway. Well, what are your thoughts there?
Look, they're always fun. They're even win or lose. I mean, obviously more fun when we win, but they're always high scoring, and you can never count the Warriors out. Like even before last year, there were games that we had won that was just Johnson was like, nah, and carried you guys home. No lead is safe against you guys. I hate playing the Warriors over there. I hate it. It's not a fun game more times than not. So I know we've had a good record against you guys recently, but a lot of that's COVID where you guys were playing over here. So it's not a fun trip. I was happy it was round one because you never know what's going to happen in round one. We're terrible in round one, so if we lose this game, losing to the Warriors in New Zealand isn't a bad thing. But look, Cronulla can win this game. I'm not writing them off. If Nico Hines clicks and Sean Johnson doesn't, we could run up a score. I just can't see any genuine route to victory unless Adam Fanua-Blake gets COVID and doesn't play the game. It's as simple as that. He's just too damn good. Bittersweet.
Yeah. And just look at some of these stats here. Wins at go medium ultimate staying the record. The Warriors are at 57%. They're 155 to 270, and the Sharks are 8 from 17, 47%. So it's not exactly horrible. But the Warriors do have a very good record at home. So, the Warriors' record at home last year, that's what got them in that top 4 spot. Definitely. And, that's look, going into this year, the expectations are very high. And as Webby said during the off-season, we still want to be the hunter more than the hunted because we know we're going to be hunted. But he referred to us as let's not wait for them to – no, let's not wait for them to hunt us. It's still hunting them. So, which is a very good attitude to have. I think it's a very good attitude to have because a lot of people now know that the Warriors aren't underdogs anymore, and everyone will be going after the Warriors now because what they did last year. So, Daniel was saying, hi to Dan from another Dan in UK. So good to see a viewer from the UK on. So. Yeah, that's the stats there. So now we'll get into the prediction for this game. Massive game, round one. Yes, it's an early game. It's an early round to start the season. Look, lose, it's not the end of the world, but, obviously you want to get those 2 points to kickstart your year. It is quite important getting early wins to start the season, especially when you don't want to go into the back end of the year and, rely on some, late wins during the year to push themselves in the top 8. So, Dan, what is your prediction here? What are your predictions in terms of a try scorer, anytime try scorer, and, score prediction? Who do you think is going to win?
Cronulla are going to win because I have to say that. I'll say 24-20. Ronaldo anytime. Ronaldo's on the score sheet more often than not. For you guys, Tenny's a Lesniak, obviously. Like he's a freak. Look, I'll go Cronulla by 4 with zero confidence.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with a Warriors win here, of course. Backing my boys, backing the Warriors, of course, always. Warriors 24, Sharks 16. Try scorers, I'm going to say I'm going to go with RTS. I'm going to go with RTS in the centres here. I reckon he might score a try. And I'm going to say Tenny's a Lesniak, DWZ. And I'll go with Marcelo Montoya as well on that wing there. As for the Sharks, who am I going to pick? I'll probably say Sione Katoa and Jesse Ramian, I think, for me. Oh, and I'll go with Molitalo as well. Ronaldo Molitalo. He has a habit of scoring tries there for you guys, especially Molitalo there. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, Jacko's saying, Warriors should win. But if we don't get over the big pack, who knows? Yeah, so, obviously, with the Warriors got Melbourne the following week down there in Melbourne. So, it'll be nice if we can get these 2 points to start the season because Melbourne, our record in Melbourne's not the greatest. And I think it's something completely different just playing them not on an Anzac Day, which is something very different, from the usual.
Strange.
Yeah, very different for sure. But you've gone with the Sharks win there. I've gone with the Warriors win there. So, thanks, Dan, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you giving your time up to come on and chat with me and preview the game. And I'm sure if there's another encounter during the season, we'll definitely invite you and hopefully get Terry on as well when he's free as well. So thanks, Dan, for coming on. Really appreciate it. And where can they find your podcast?
Absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you. Always happy to jump on. Rugby League Outlaws on YouTube and Fins Up podcast on stream. What is it? Spotify, evidently, and Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy. Just type in Fins Up podcast. Although I wouldn't say Warriors fans listen to it. It's very Shark biased. But Rugby League Outlaws, I've heard it's the best show on YouTube, mate.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, awesome stuff. So just reading here some of the comments to wrap it up. So love watching the Sharks in the early 2000s. They had a cracking team then. I'm sure Dan will definitely agree on that one. And Jackie's saying here, always fun, guys. Cheers again. So, thanks to the viewers for watching. Really do appreciate you tuning in and commenting there on the live chat. And if you're watching it back, make sure you give your thoughts and predictions on how you think the game's going to go in the YouTube comment section down below. Make sure you don't forget to like this live stream or like the video back if you're watching it back. And make sure you go and, check out Dan and Terry on the Rugby League Outlaws YouTube channel. They do some great, brilliant stuff themselves there as well. So I'm sure there'll be something up there soon on your channel, right?
Sure, tomorrow, mate. New episode drops. And don't forget, Super Duper Saturday was this past Saturday. We've gone over 700 views, which is insane, considering it was a 6-hour show. So thank you to everyone.
Awesome. 6 hours. Wow. I did see a dump of that, actually. Didn't get the time to watch all of it, but I'll definitely, watch it when I get the time. So, yeah.
A lot of time, yeah.
6 hours. It is quite a long stream, isn't it? So, yeah, I see you got Matt Elliott on there, wasn't it? Matt Elliott.
Yeah, Matt Elliott, Ben Cross, Junior Moores, had Nathan Ryan from the former media guy up at Newcastle, and Sam Stone Street from the Sharks too. It was incredible. People were so giving with their time. Very, very thankful. But 6 hours, mate, it certainly is a long time. So please watch it over 2 or 3 sittings. But mate, it was a lot.
Awesome. Thanks again to Dan for coming on. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you do like the live stream. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And have a good rest of the night. Have a good rest of the evening. Have a good rest of the week. And I can't wait for Friday night. I'm very excited for it. I'm very nervous for it. Go the Warriors. Up the mighty Warriors. Up the Wars. And, we'll see you guys tomorrow again for another live stream on YouTube as well. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good one. Cheers.